Welcome back. All right, career video time. Let us discuss Daren Puppa. So as I've been making videos and getting ready for vacation time, coming across Daren Puppa's name in a list video, and I was like, I haven't done a video on him, have I? And so a quick check of the channel revealed I have not done a career video on a goaltender who I liked quite a bit, and sadly his career was shorter than it should have been. So he was a number 74 pick by the Buffalo Sabres in 1983. But as a goaltender, it does take a little bit longer, usually, to reach the NHL. So 85-86, he makes his debut. He actually got a shutout in his debut game, apparently. 7 games, a record of 3-4 that season, 886 save percentage with that single shutout. So gets into a handful of games, 86-87, gets into a few games as well, 3. To be exact, a record of 0-2-1 with an 835 save percentage and no shutouts. Now, one thing I should mention is this third column is ties. When I talk about goalies now, that third column is overtime losses or shootout losses, and the regulation losses are the second column here. But during this era, they're ties. 87-88, he played 17 games that year for Buffalo, 8-6-1 record, 870 save percentage, no shutouts. In the playoffs, he played 3 games, a record of 1-1, 836 save percentage, no shutouts. To this point, there's nothing about Puppa's career that's overly spectacular, but we're getting there. 88-89, he played 37 games that year for Buffalo, record of 17-10-6, 889 save percentage, and a shutout. So, solid goaltending as the backup by Daren Puppa, and the following year he gets an opportunity, seizes an opportunity, should I say, to become the starter. He played 56 games, which to that point, of course, a career high. His 31 wins led the National Hockey League that year. 16 losses and 6 ties, a 903 save percentage is third in the National Hockey League. So a save percentage that by today's standards we would say, well, he only had a 903. Back then it was, wow, his save percentage is above 900. I'm old enough to remember when I would measure a goaltender being good or bad by whether their save percentage was above 900. So 6 games in the playoffs that year, a record of 2-4, but a 921 save percentage. No shutouts. He played in the All-Star game that year. He was second in Vezina voting in 1990 and a second-team All-Star. So that close to a Vezina trophy. What does he do for an encore? Well, 90-91, he only played 38 games, a record of 15-11-6, 885 save percentage, 2 shutouts. In the playoffs, he only played 2 games, recorded a loss, 783 save percentage, no shutouts. So Puppa could not follow up on that great year. And there was definitely some discussion about that. 92-93, or 91-92. We're not skipping 91-92. Plays 33 games, still in Buffalo. Record of 11-14-4, 878 save percentage, and no shutouts. So Puppa's struggles continue. And 92-93 would prove to be his final year in Buffalo. He plays 24 games, a record of 11-5-4. His numbers did bounce back. He had an 890 save percentage, no shutouts. And then on February 2nd, he is traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a big deal with the 1993 first, which was used to draft Kenny Johnson, as well as Dave Anderchuk, and going the other way, a 1995 fifth-round draft pick and Hall of Fame goaltender Grant Fuhr. So Buffalo picks up Grant Fuhr, Daren Puppa going the other way, but in Toronto, Puppa's numbers weren't bad. He only played 8 games after the trade deadline, but a record of 6-2, or I should say the rest of the season. February 2nd wouldn't have been that close to the trade deadline. So after the trade to Toronto, 8 games, 6-2 record, 922 save percentage. His combined 898 save percentage between Buffalo and Toronto, actually 6th in the National Hockey League, and he recorded 2 shutouts in the 8 games he played in Toronto. He did make 1 appearance in the playoffs, did not get a win or a loss, and had an 857 save percentage in that 1 game. But the numbers are good. So he's in Toronto. We're going through an expansion. So the Florida Panthers are coming in 1993, and they draft Daren Puppa. Now, if you're thinking, I don't remember the Florida Panthers taking Daren Puppa in the expansion draft, that's because the day after, Tampa drafts him from Florida. So in this bizarre twist to how the expansions are being done, we've talked about Minnesota and how the Minnesota North Stars got players in the San Jose expansion. In this case, Florida comes in a year after Tampa, and Tampa just goes, we'll take Puppa. And 93-94, his first year in Tampa, it made the Lightning look really smart for taking Puppa off the hands of the Florida Panthers, who end up with John Van Beesbrook. I think they were happy there anyways. So he plays 63 games that first year with Tampa, the highest number he played in his career to that point, and that would stay his highest number as well. Record of 22, 33, and 6. The 33 losses are 4th in the National Hockey League. He had an .899 save percentage that year and 4 shutouts. So, strong overall season for Puppa on a team that was still struggling to find their identity. The Tampa Bay Lightning, 93-94 season, not one really to write home about, but it's nice to see Puppa's healthy and playing well. And 94-95, a lockout-shortened season. He played 36 games that year. Record of 14, 19, and 2. The 19 losses are 5th overall in the NHL. .905 save percentage and a shutout. So his overall save percentage that year above 500 for the first time since 89-90. 95-96, big year for him that season. 57 games, his 29 wins are 9th overall in the NHL. That's coupled with 16 losses and 9 ties. His .918 save percentage is 2nd overall in the National Hockey League with 5 shutouts. So 95-96, we're starting to see scoring drop off. Goaltender numbers are getting better, and Puppa's numbers go through the roof. In the playoffs, though, 4 games, a record of 1-3 with an .837 save percentage. So one thing with Puppa's career, he never had a long run in the playoffs. Absolutely one thing about his career. But he did finish 3rd in Vezina voting. So twice in his career, he was a finalist for the Vezina. But 96-97, this is where the fall off occurs. He only played 6 games that year due to chronic back issues. And eventually, he's going to be forced to retire due to injury. It's too bad. In those 6 games, he has a record of 1-1-2 with a .907 save percentage. No shutouts. 97-98, he played 26 games that year with Tampa. But his record, not great. 5-14-6. Noteworthy, though, is the save percentage still .900. 98-99, he played 13 games, record of 5-6-1, .906 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. He was not playing in the minors or anything. It was just he's experiencing issues and having a hard time staying healthy. So 99-2000, he played 5 games in what would be his final National Hockey League season. He had a record of 1-2 with an .853 save percentage and no shutouts. He retired mid-season. So Daren Puppa ends up playing 429 regular season games in his career, a record of 179 wins, 161 losses, and 54 ties. His save percentage in his career, .897. And I think that's respectable considering the era he starts off in, considering the injury issues, and playing for not necessarily great teams along the way too. He did have 19 shutouts, which is impressive, again, for that era. 16 games in the playoffs. His stats not fantastic. They're 4-9, .871 save percentage. He did not record a shutout in the playoffs. So he's a goaltender who had a couple of excellent seasons. Overall was a good goaltender. And sadly, his career was cut short due to injury. Otherwise, I would say he would have played at least another couple hundred games. Probably would have had about another at least 70 or 80 victories. And he wouldn't have been a Hall of Famer, but I think he would have been more memorable to some. Again, for those of us who watched him play, we know how good he was. But for those watching this video now, you might look at the numbers and go, well, he wasn't that great. But the reality is, Daren Puppa was an excellent goaltender for Buffalo and then for Tampa. And in between, he gave Toronto all they could ask for from the backup position. 6-2 record in 8 games with a .922 save percentage and a couple of shutouts. That's pretty strong. But then the expansion draft made sure he didn't stay in Toronto. Just imagine if he'd stayed in Toronto for 93-94, which was a pretty good year for the Leafs. But anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.